Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So the topic I wanted to talk about today was just dealing with yourself and learning how to deal with your own emotions. I was watching a video today, and what the people were pretty much talking about was how in life we can better help our people and help, whether you're in a relationship, helping your girl or helping your boy out with stuff that they're going through. And pretty much what they were pretty much explaining was the best way that somebody can get to a point where they can, in a healthy way, help their person. Like if somebody's mad, what to say, knowing what to say and how to say it, and the best way to like help them get through what they're going through, or like get to the other side of the problem that they're dealing with. And one of the things I found very interesting was they were almost speaking as though the average person has it figured out. And what I personally think is most people don't even know how to solve for their own problems. So it's very hard to help somebody solve for theirs. And if you can't solve your problems, there's no possible way. I don't want to say it's no way, but it becomes very hard to help somebody deal with the problem they have if you haven't dealt with the problem that you have. So one of the things I find very interesting and something that I wanted to speak about was how we deal with problems and how we can solve for our own problems in life, and just how you'll think you're in a space where you need to be giving advice, but a lot of times we're probably in a space where we need the advice ourselves, myself included. So something I found very interesting was in the video they were talking about love languages and just different things you can do to help somebody get through something, like if you're with your significant other and they're grumpy and they're having a bad day, how do you help them and stuff like that, and just understanding your person. But what hit me was like they just kept diving into understanding your person. I'm like, dude, a lot of people don't even understand themselves. So what I wanted to speak about was, as I was listening to it, my brain was just going somewhere else, and I found it very interesting. I wanted to make a video about it. So what I wanted to talk about was to have a childlike outlook on understanding yourself and having grace for yourself, and being able to pretty much solve problems like a kid. And what I mean by this is this. Everybody has a safe space and a happy space, and if you don't, I think you should get one. For me, I'm very comfortable by myself. I've always liked being by myself. It's just something that I'm comfortable with. It's how I was raised. I grew up in a house with other people, but in reality, I kind of grew up by myself. It's just something I'm used to. I'm used to being alone. It is what it is. It's not like a bad thing, but it just is what it is. So I think my safe space is by myself. And I think you also have to figure out what your level of tolerance is for any type of situation. For example, some people, they need their day to stay around a 5. They don't need their emotions any higher than a 5. If they go too high, they get stressed out. They go too low, they're too mellow, and they don't have a good day. And some people, they do better in high energy, high, now I wouldn't say toxicity, but just high volatile environments, whether it's a stock trader, whether it's a car salesman that's on a booming sales floor where you're hustling and bustling and just moving and grooving, and you just got to keep getting it every second of the day. Those people do really good in those environments, where other people might do really good at a bookstore and they just like the quiet and the peace and not a lot of people around them, or they're in the back room working on some stuff. Maybe they're doing IT, or they don't really work with people, they work better by themselves, and that's their happy space, and that's where they're most comfortable, working by themselves. So one of the things I even wanted to talk about was how to find your happy space, what your happy space might be, and then how to get a better understanding of it. So one of the things that hit me when I was watching the video, I was like, dude, one, most people don't even understand how to find their happy space, and if they have one, or even know that they need one. For me, I like being by myself. I like being in my room, and I love listening to music. One of the things I find very interesting was when I realized I needed a happy space, I would get like very stressed out about stuff. I'd just be going through my day, and I would find myself getting very irritated for some reason, starting like high school and then a little bit later, or it started a little bit earlier, but that's when it really started to like, I would just get very irritated about different things. I'm like, yo, I need to find a way to mellow myself out, because my blood is rising and I'm getting hot. Like for some reason, my temperature is rising and I need to bring it down. Whatever it is, it was just, I'm not like an angry person. I don't go around getting angry at people. That's not my thing. I just don't really show whether or not it is there or not. That's irrelevant. But for me, I like to be calm. If I was to pick my number, I would say I like to be around a 5. If I could choose the number I'm at all day, I would say I like to stay right around a solid 5. And that's my happy space. That's my good number. When I'm at a 5, I'm very happy. I'm chill. I'm not too high. I'm not too low. And I just feel good. My whole day's good. A good day for me is like waking up, going for a walk, probably going to the beach if I can, driving a fast car on the way to the beach. Then when I get to the beach, I eat ice cream, and then I walk the beach. I'm with a girl. Bad. That's a good day for me. So I feel like I like the highs, not so much. I don't really like the lows. I'm not really somebody that likes to be too down because I'm already probably close, so I don't really like to go that low. I like the highs and I like to bring myself right back down to my middle point. So if it's too high for too long, I start to feel uncomfortable and I just want to go back to my happy space. So something that I developed, or not really developed, but I found works really well for me was headphones. Like I always have in headphones and it works really well for me because I can listen to my music. I can listen to a podcast no matter where I'm at. I have the headphones. Sometimes because of my dreads, you won't even know I have in headphones. And what's really dope is I realized it mellowed me out, and no matter where I was, whether it was music, whether it was a podcast, I could or it's an audiobook, I could dive into my own world inside of the world I was in, and then get away. I had a getaway inside of a getaway, if that makes sense. Well, a getaway for me, if that makes sense. So what I would do with whether I'm in Miami or whether I'm anywhere, no matter where I was at, I would find a way. I would always make sure I brought headphones with me, and I would always make sure I have a way to mellow myself out no matter what I'm doing. I could be on the beach doing spring break, excuse me. I could be on the beach doing spring break. Doesn't matter. It could be hundreds and probably thousands of people around me. I need to be able to get back to my happy space no matter where I'm at. So some of the stuff that I'll do is sometimes if I find myself getting too high, and what I mean by high, I don't mean as a drug, I mean my emotions are getting too riled up, I'll mellow myself back out. Sometimes if we're in Miami or we're at a party, I'll just step out the party. I'll go for a walk. It can be in the middle of the night. I love fresh air. That's my thing. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I just love fresh air. If it's a nice day, even if it's a cool night, or just a good spring day, I love to be outside, whether it's day, morning, night, it doesn't matter. If I'm mellow, it's just breathing in the air just mellows me down. So if I'm at a party, if I'm in the middle of the city, if I'm in Miami, it doesn't matter. I'll go for a walk on the beach. I'll leave the boardwalk where everybody's at, and I'll walk out to the beach. I love sandals, so I'll take off my sandals. I'll put my foot in the sand. I'll just walk out to the water and I'll just chill, and I'll just be off by myself, away from everybody. I don't need to do it for hours. I'll just need 5-10 minutes, and I'm learning that helps me to mellow out. One of the things I found very interesting was I was thinking what is it about us having a problem with speaking about this, the ability to mellow yourself out and to be able to find your happy space, especially as men, and then on top of that, as black men. Something I found very interesting was if you look at kids, if you take children, all children have a happy space. And as parents, you immediately recognize what it is, because every parent I know, no matter what they do when they're packing their kids' stuff, all their kids have one item that they can't forget that item. And if they forget that item, their kid is just going crazy. If they were crying, they're throwing temper tantrums because that item is their happy space, whether it's a teddy bear, whether it's a baseball, or an item that you bought them that they just fell in love with. Doesn't matter whether it's a book or whatever. Kids are able to find their happy space without anybody teaching them about it, because they know that this item for some reason mellows them out to a point where it just makes them happy. Or even if it's not a space of like a euphoria where they're super high, where they're like happy and energetic, it just calms them and they're able to get to a calm space where they're now happy with whatever they have. And in that moment, whether they were really high or really low, this item calms them, and their parents are able to identify what the item is. And I've seen every parent do it. They do it instinctively. It's not even something you think about. It's just you notice your kid is very calm and the kid clings to it. If you notice, when you see kids, they'll be carrying around a teddy bear. No matter where they go, they'll have that teddy bear. Or if it's a little girl, she'll have a doll. No matter where she goes, she'll have that doll with her at all times. No matter, it could be a funeral, she has a doll. If it's on a plane, you see the little girl with the doll. If it's a boy, you'll see him with a fake puppy or whatever. So what's interesting to me is that kids are able to identify, even at a very young age, when they're damn near babies, they're able to identify their happy space. But yet us as adults, when we're 20s, we're 30s, we for some reason think we don't need to have a happy space because we're grown. And it gets to a point where we're out in the world trying to figure it out by ourselves or figure it out without a happy space or the ability to get to a place of comfort. And I think a lot of us think that a place of comfort means a bed or a good couch, or no, your place of comfort can be an item, just a feeling that makes you mellow out, that makes you woosah. Oh, and then you're calm. Once you see it, it could be a person. But my whole thing was, I feel like it's a lot better when it's an item because it's something that you can control versus relying on a person. Because I feel like if your happy space is a person, if that person is removed, then you're no longer happy. Whereas if your happy space is something that's controlled, like like an item, it's an item that you can bring with you. And what I always found interesting was I would watch little kids, and they would make sure their parents did not forget that teddy bear or that stuffed animal or whatever it is, the doll. They'll make sure, they'll remember it. Where's such and such? They might name it. Where's this or where's that or where's such and such? Mom, can you make sure you bring this? And the parent also understands that if I forget this doll, it's going to be all hell to raise and we're going to have a long trip because this kid is going to be going crazy. And when they go crazy and they get high or low, we won't have a way to not so much control it, but I would say the word for the day is regulate. That's the word for the day. You have to be able to bring it back down and have it in a space where the child is very mellow. That's what you want. A happy space where they're controlled and just very calm. And I feel like a lot of us get to a point where we no longer have a happy space because we feel like we don't need one because we're grown. And in reality, we all need one. So I would say mine is obviously music and the outdoors is being calm no matter where I go, whether I'm at a party, whether I'm in Miami on a beach around thousands of people. I will literally step off somewhere where no one is. I'll find a alone space where it's just me or it's not a lot of people around and it's quiet in this area, and I'll just breathe and then it'll just mellow me out. And I've realized that us as adults can learn a lot from children because they know stuff instinctively that we tend to forget or we feel like we no longer need when we still do. So the question for today is, what is your happy space? What do you do to mellow out? What is something that you do to like calm yourself down when you're too high or too low and bring yourself back to a number that works for you? Also, another thing could be like if you're on your job and you have to take a break at certain times, you can even find a way to like incorporate a workout or something. If some people, well, before we even finish, one of the things I wanted to say was I've noticed that a lot of people have found their happy space in drugs. And that's something I found very interesting when I was thinking about it. A lot of people I know tell me they need weed. Like that's their thing. And I was like, that's interesting because I need music because I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, but I need music. Like I can't go somewhere without my headphones. I can't go somewhere not knowing that if anything goes wrong, I can just put in my headphones, calm down, and just mellow out. Some people they need weed and they gotta smoke every day because it mellows them out. So maybe a lot of adults do have their happy space. It's just tied into a drug now. And hopefully your happy space is something that's not too detrimental to you, like becoming an alcoholic or something crazy like that, or like a drug addict. I don't think weed is a big deal personally. I'm Jamaican. It's not a big deal to me. I don't think weed's never killed nobody. I don't think so. Who knows? But I feel like a lot of people's happy space has now become weed because the people I know, most of them tell me, I need to mellow out, so I smoke, or I need to, before I go to work, I smoke, or after I come from work, I unwind by smoking, and that's their happy space. So that could be a lot of people's happy space, and they might not even know it. They might not even recognize that, because I smoke, it helps me to mellow out, and this is why I do it. So a lot of us as kids have had a happy space, and then we get to a point where we feel like we no longer need it. So I would advise you to figure out what your happy space is, what is your mellow point, what is the number you're most comfortable with. And when I say number, I mean level of intensity, level of action, like the amount of movement. If you're at a 10, you're like all over the place, you're going all day. If you're at a 1, you're like really stand still. I personally like to be around a 5. I like to take it up from time to time, but I don't like to go lower than a 5. And then, because any lower than a 5, I'm like bored out of my mind. 5, I'm chill, calm, just chilling. And then I can like go up, and then I can always come back down to a 5. Never like to be at a 10, probably around like an 8 or a 9. Then quickly come back down to a 5 and just I'll be chilling. Some stuff people can do is if you have a work day, if working out really helps, you can bring a jump rope to work with you. Even if you can't go to the gym, if you can control your break, because I know at a lot of jobs, on my job, I can decide when I take my break. A lot of times I can really schedule my own break in. Or if you can't, you can schedule your day to where if at 10 o'clock or at 12 o'clock noon, that's when they make me take my break. You can, even if you let everything build up, you can have a jump rope with you and you can go jump rope. You can hit a smoke or just hit a blunt. I'm not sure if that's okay at your job. I know at most jobs it's not, so I'm not advocating it. But it's just very interesting if more of us understood what it meant to have a happy space and had a more childlike thought process on it, and understanding that we have to be able to get back to that happy space at any time when it's needed. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. What is your happy space? What is something you do to help yourself mellow out, and how do you go about it? And does it work for you? And how long have you been doing it? And just let me know in the comments what you think.